How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's prediction video. Now, the group stages of this year's Euro 2024 are starting to close up and we're heading into the final round of group stage fixtures. So for this one, I thought we'd focus on a massive game taking place in Group B as Croatia go head-to-head with Italy. We start off with a quick look at Croatia. Now for Croatia, the last 5 fixtures have ended in 3 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss. Their last match was a 2-2 draw against Albania on match day 2. In these last 5 fixtures, Croatia have scored 11 goals but conceded 8. So while they are getting goals at times, they're also conceding quite a few goals as well. The first player I'd like to talk about for Croatia has got to be Real Madrid's Luka Modric. In 177 appearances for his national team, Luka Modric has scored 25 goals and racked up 29 assists. With Modric, you know you have a player who can dictate the tempo of the game. He's quite old now, so I don't expect to see Modric doing much running. But it'll be his brain that keeps Modric relevant in football for a few more years. Modric is the kind of player who's very good at reading the game, understanding what is happening around him all the time, and he's got fantastic passing range. So Modric will be looking to everybody else to be doing running off the ball so that he can play them into good goal scoring opportunities. With Modric, you also have a player who can win a few tackles in midfield, so you will have a few defensive duties as well. But Modric's primary concern here will be creating opportunities for his teammates and getting the team to move forward as a unit. Next up, I want to talk winger Ivan Perisic. Now in 133 appearances for his national team, Ivan Perisic has scored 33 goals and racked up 30 assists. In Perisic, you have a player who gives you a bit of a creative threat out wide. Perisic is the kind of player who tries to make his movement off the ball count as much as he possibly can. This is a player who tries to get into good spaces out wide so that he can receive the ball, then either cut in and take a shot or take the ball out wide to the corner flag and deliver in a cross. With Perisic, you also have a player who's very good with close control, so expect to see him running with the ball at his feet. Unfortunately, however, like Luka Modric, Ivan Perisic is no longer as young as he used to be. So I don't expect to see him beating players with pace. It'll be more down to his trickery and his wit and intelligence on the ball for Perisic to be able to come up with something special here. And finally, I want to talk Bruno Petkovic. In 40 appearances for his national team, Petkovic has scored 11 goals and managed to rack up 3 assists. Now with Petkovic, you have a player who is still in the prime of his footballing career. We expect to see Petkovic being a massive threat in the box because his primary concern here is to get goals. With Petkovic, you have a very solid striker who's quite strong on the ball. I think with Petkovic, however, he's maybe not a player who will look to play others in. He's more of a target man. The player who's just waiting in the box to get an opportunity and then put the ball past the keeper. But for Petkovic to perform at his optimum level, he is very reliant on players behind him, players like Modric and Perisic, to create the opportunities for him to then just put the finishing touch on the cake. Next up, we look at Italy. Now, the last 5 fixtures for the Azzurri have also ended in 3 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss. Their last match was a loss on match day 2 against Spain in a fixture that ended 1-0 to La Roya. In these last 5 fixtures, Italy have scored 5 goals and conceded just 2. So while Italy do seem to be starved up front of goals, they're keeping it very solid at the back and making sure they're not conceding any as well. The first player I want to talk about for Italy has got to be the goalkeeper Gigi Donnarumma. In 64 appearances for his national team, Donnarumma has kept 28 clean sheets and conceded 51 goals. In Donnarumma, Italy have a very solid and very sturdy goalkeeper. I think Donnarumma really did put his best foot forward in that fixture on match day 2 against Spain. He really pulled Italy out of the fire a few times, and he proved that even if he doesn't necessarily end the season very strong with his club side, he can sort of still perform very, very well for his national team. He can put those bad performances behind him and move forward very well. In Donnarumma, you have a very commanding goalkeeper who's still very young, so he's very athletic and very agile. He can also go up if it's necessary for his team to get a goal in the dying minutes. We did see that against Spain. But I think with Donnarumma, a lot of Italy's forward players can play a lot more free, knowing they have a very good goalkeeper between the sticks. In front of Gigi Donnarumma at the heart of Italy's defense, I'm expecting to see Inter Milan's Bastoni. In 25 appearances for the Azzurri, Bastoni has scored 2 goals, one of them being that very important goal on match day 1 against Albania. In Bastoni, Italy have a very solid centre-back who knows how to read the game, who knows how to distribute the ball well. But I think in Bastoni as well, they do have a player who can lead the back line. This is something I actually did underestimate when it came to Bastoni, is his ability to sort of tutor the other players around him. We have seen him play very, very well with the other defenders for Italy. In Bastoni, you have a player who can cut out passes because aerially he's very, very good. He's a very tall and strong player. But that also means he plays a bit of a role in creating a threat from corners and free kicks for Italy as well. This is a player you can expect to be very physical on the ball, to really be getting at Croatia's front line, but also to be very, very quick enough to cut out passes and to read attacks and apply pressure on attacking players. Finally, I want to talk Juventus wide man Federico Chiesa. In 49 appearances for the Azzurri, Chiesa has scored 7 goals and managed to notch up 8 assists. With Chiesa, you get a typical wide player who's very quick, very good with dribbling. His close control is very, very tight. But I think with Chiesa, you also get a kind of winger who can cut in and score goals. I think if Italy decide to switch to a kind of counter-attacking style of play, Chiesa becomes the focal point of their attack, being the quickest player they have access to, a player who can either create goal-scoring opportunities for himself or for his teammates using all of his very good attributes. But I think right now, Chiesa and the rest of Italy are just struggling with a bit of form in terms of going forward. They're struggling to break opposition teams down, and I think right now everybody just looks a little bit disconnected. Okay, on to the head-to-head between these two sides. Now, the last 5 fixtures between Croatia and Italy have ended in 2 wins for Croatia and then 3 draws. So, no wins for Italy in the last 5, which is a very interesting statistic. In these last 5 fixtures, Croatia have scored 7 goals and Italy have scored 4 goals. This essentially means that every time the sides have met, Croatia have managed to score, which is a problem for Italy at the back. I think historically that kind of creates a situation where Croatia look a lot better than what they actually are. If we take into consideration as well that the last 3 fixtures between these two sides have ended in draws, it kind of paints a strange picture of Italy being resurgent over the last few years and Croatia slowly deteriorating, but still being able to be a kind of silver bullet for Italy. I think also knowing that Croatia have 1 clean sheet against Italy and Italy have absolutely no clean sheets in these last 5 against Croatia tells us that we're going to see goals at both ends here. It's very likely. Unfortunately, however, when we look at the grand scheme of things and where these two teams are in their group right now, Italy are kind of in the driving seat with this one. They do have 3 points, so they're currently second in the group, while Croatia have just a single point from their draw against Albania. For Italy, this is a kind of fixture where if they win it, they can assure themselves a spot in the next round. If they go out and lose against Croatia, it makes things a little bit more complicated. I think right now, Croatia are in a very bad space. Their backs are to the walls right now and they need to win just to survive in this competition. Italy will be okay with a draw, but for Croatia that is nowhere near enough to keep them in this tournament. Italy seem to be struggling up front right now. Against Spain, they were kind of shut out. There were some very good moves that they created, but they seem to have a kind of disconnect between the midfield and the forward line. And that's why we're seeing the goals from Italy coming from the midfield and the defense as opposed to the front line. For Croatia, it's a similar issue, but it is far worse. There's a disconnect from defense to midfield and then from midfield to attack. There seems to be absolutely no chemistry between the team at all, and this is very shocking when we consider they have very, very good midfielders like Pasalic, Modric, Brozovic, Kovacic from Manchester City. Croatia shouldn't be struggling in terms of creating chances. What they are struggling with, however, is getting the ball to these midfielders and then players off the ball making runs. It's not creating the space for players like Modric and Kovacic to find passes. And that's why we're seeing Croatia under pressure so much more than usual. For Italy, I think Spalletti has understood that yes, this team can play that typical possession-style football that we have seen Inter Milan play with the 3-5-2 formation. But he's also realized that with his time at Napoli, Italian players were still able to play a kind of 4-3-3 formation as well. And that's what he's implemented in the national team right now. He's trying to get them to play more active football as opposed to playing passive football and just moving the ball around. He's trying to take advantage of pace that he has out wide in players like Stefan El Shaarawy from Roma and Federico Chiesa from Juventus. But for some reason, it's just not coming together. And I think the main problem is because Italy don't have a number 9 who knows exactly how to play the style of football that everybody else wants to play. Usually it is the kind of striker that you have that dictates how you play, but with Italy they're kind of trying to shoehorn Scamacca into a formation that already has preconceived ideas. And that's why we're seeing situations with Scamacca looking so isolated up front, kind of disconnected from the rest of the team. I think, however, with Croatia, the one major disadvantage that they also have over Italy here is they have no legs in midfield. Players like Modric, Kovacic and Brozovic are not going to be sprinting at full speed to close down players. They will do that through their formation. They'll try to pick up players with a zonal marking system as opposed to man-to-man. I think here Italy, just knowing they have the flexibility to play a different style of football, knowing they have the legs, they have players who can run, but also players who can make intelligent runs off the ball and on the ball, kind of gives Italy a bit of an edge here. I'm going to go with Italy winning this one. I think Italy win probably 2-0, maybe 2-1. But I think for Croatia, this will be a very difficult obstacle for them to overcome. A win for Croatia leaves the door open for both sides to qualify. So in terms of the bigger picture and in terms of the neutral football fan, a win for Croatia here could possibly be better going forward, because then one of these sides would finish third and could theoretically qualify as a third place team. Mind you, that is completely dependent on Albania losing against Spain. If Albania win against Spain, then the cat is truly amongst the pigeons here, and we will have a situation where head-to-head results come into play and goal difference as well. But I think that Croatia, knowing this, is not going to be enough for them. I think with Italy as well, just knowing they have solid defenders who can play so many roles. You have Di Marco who can support from the left wing. You have Di Lorenzo who can support from the right back role. It sort of just creates a situation where I think Croatia are going to be overwhelmed. I think Italy will prep to not have the ball and to play that 4-3-3 counter-attacking style. And I think that's how they're going to win this game. I think Croatia have really given themselves a very difficult job here. And mind you, it might be one that is too difficult for even Luka Modric and co to sort of overcome. But I would love to see Croatia in the knockout rounds, as slim as the chances are. Hi, thank you for making it to the end of this video. We really appreciate the watch time and the fact that you took some time out of your day to spend it with us talking about the sport that we all love. If you enjoyed the content, why not, drop a like down below or comment in the comment section. Maybe even consider subscribing to the channel. And I mean, while you are here right now, have a look at some of our old videos too. They should be appearing on the screen right now, along with that subscribe button. So you know exactly what to do. Thank you so much. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And have a great day out there. And we hope to see you again very, very soon. Thanks. Stay safe.